Welcome back to another episode of the Miami Heat Chronicles. I'm your host, Amir. You can find me at Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast. We got Martel. You can find him at the Miami Heat Zone podcast. And we have a returning guest joining the show today. We got GOAT James Kingdom. How are you doing today, man?
Peace, fellas. Thank you for having me here. What's good, y'all? Let's go Heat, baby.
Do you want to, before we get started on today's episode, do you want to just reintroduce yourself to the audience before we get started?
Yes. I'm A. Johnny. I'm one half of the GOAT James Kingdom platform, where we go live every Sunday noon Eastern time, right on the GOAT James Kingdom channel, and we talk the GOAT debate and basketball and all the great players and all the great eras. That's what we do mostly. But I'm one half of it, and I'm the biggest Heat fan of the GOAT James Kingdom platform. And obviously, I support my Heat all the time. That's what makes me a basketball fan. So that's a part of what I do best. So yes, the GOAT James Kingdom. You can catch us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, and we go live every Sunday noon Eastern time. Plus, we even have our little spinoff shows where I do a Heat talk show on Monday nights. It's called the Heat Hour. But obviously, with the Heat and what's been going on with the Heat, it's been tough to talk the Heat, man. So I'm here to talk the Heat with these two great gentlemen, and thank you for having me on again. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. And you are right. There hasn't been a lot of action specifically with the Miami Heat this off season. We all knew that was going to happen anyway. We're a first apron team right now, and so we have no salary space to really add a real free agent. And so we have the mid-level exception, which is $5.2 million. We still have that available, but also through trades, like we don't have a lot of assets. I think we have one tradable first-round pick in 2030. So again, we're rumored and linked to players like Brandon Ingram and Larry Markkinen or whoever, but it's going to be really hard for this Miami Heat team to make a move that is substantial this offseason. And so I wanted to get your thoughts, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts just so far on the direction that this Miami Heat has been going? I know we're in a blended build right now with obviously Jimmy. We're adding some young pieces through the draft, but just what are your thoughts on the current state of this Miami Heat team?
Man, it's a sad state, man. When we're watching all these different teams make all these moves, everybody's able to make moves, and it looks like the contract we gave Hero and Duncan is hurting us now because we really can't trade them. They hold no real value. We tried to make some moves this season. We got Terry Rozier. We don't know what to do with him. He doesn't really have that much of a trade value. We have Jimmy Butler coming back, and it just seems like Pat Riley has always just been holding on to, like I said, to try to get a star, but we never really get that star. We never really get that top tier free agent or guy that's available on the market. I don't see us getting marketing. I don't see Danny Ainge giving up marketing for anything other than several first rounders, if anything. I don't see us really being able to make any real trades, to be honest with you. We couldn't even get DeRozan, right? DeRozan was supposed to be ready to come, and we couldn't make a sign and trade with Chicago to get him here. So we don't have the capital to get anybody. We don't have the assets to get anybody. And we just lost Caleb Martin. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I love Pat Riley, but I don't think he's really grasped the idea that these players are just a little bit different. He has to find a different way to get these guys to want to come here. And then he has to work with the teams because there's teams that just don't want to trade with us. Miami's just not getting no trades because people don't want to give us nothing. Nobody wants to trade with Miami.
So do you think that the Miami Heat should be going young? I mean, we did draft Khalil Ware, and I'll get your opinion on him. And, we do have Jaime, Jovic, Bam, and Tyler. So I think we have a really solid core. And when you really look across the roster, we don't really have the assets, kind of like what you said. We don't have multiple first-round picks, and we don't have players that other teams want. So do you think that the Miami Heat should really be focusing on going young? They're not really quick to pay Jimmy Butler, so he's either going to be traded or he walks out the door for nothing, or they re-sign him. But with this current, young core that we have, do you think that the Miami Heat should be leaning in Bam Adebayo's window going forward?
Yes, and definitely. We have a good core. I still think we still have a good team. I think we could beat Boston with the team we have. Obviously, losing Caleb hurts, but picking up Burks is going to help because Alec Burke kind of still has some of those same qualities. Maybe Caleb Martin's probably a little bit better, but Alec Burke has that veteran presence. He can help us out in certain stretches of a game. But like you mentioned Nico, Jaquez Jr., Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Rozier, Jimmy Butler, and then this kid Ware looked really good. If I'm saying his name correct, he looked really good in the summer game. We have a good crew of guys that we can use, But it's just that, like I said, we lost a couple of pieces, like a Gabe Vincent, like a Max Strus, like a like a Caleb Martin, and we didn't replace them. So all these other teams got better. The Knicks got better. You know what I'm saying? There's just so many teams that we have to worry about in the East now, because the East is really a big dog. We still have to worry about Milwaukee. We still have to worry about Philadelphia. So are we really going to be a top 4 seed? Are we even going? You know what I mean? That means we're going to need everybody to be healthy for us to think that we can be the team that we want to be, to be honest with you. If not, like you said, we might have to trade Jimmy at the deadline for somebody, because he's clogging up $50 million.
Now that's the thing, because if you really can't count on Jimmy Butler to play, 65 plus games, and it's like, how are you going to give him an extension? Because not only does that, continue to put the team back. Listen, I think that this Miami Heat team, they're definitely going young. That's what they're looking towards, I think, because we're kind of stuck in the middle. And at this point, the Miami Heat, they have to pick a direction. You know what I mean? So what do you think about Khalil Ware's game? 7-foot, shot blocker. I still think he has to put on some size, but do you think that he'll be ready for this NBA season to even possibly play next to Bam Adebayo?
I don't think so. I think he's a year away. Like you said, he needs some size, understanding the pace of the game. People understand the pace of the NBA game within itself is what players mostly have to adjust to, beyond all the other aspects of their game. So I think the pace will be a little bit too much for him. I still don't think we need a center. I like Bam Adebayo. I think that's what we have to do. We have to put the ball in Bam's hands more. We have to let the offense run through him and do that. That way Jimmy could be Jimmy, Tyler can be Tyler, Duncan could be Duncan. All these guys can be who they are. And I think, to be honest with you, I was going to ask you guys, we bring in Ware, he's going to help us. But what if we bring someone in like a Russell Westbrook? Is that something you guys ever thought about, that we can think about? Because I still think we just need a good point guard, and that's how all our offense is going to work. Hakesh Jr. could ball, Nico could ball. We have shooters. We have a good solid 7-8 guys. We just need a point guard to get everybody going. That's all we need.
There's 2 spots left, right? So we have 13 because we just waived Orlando Robinson yesterday. So we have size now, because we have Bam, Thomas Bryant. I still think he'll be ahead of Khalil. I think Khalil is might even start off in Sioux Falls, right? Sioux Falls, and playing the G League for a little bit. He's still pretty raw. Like, yes, he had one really good game yesterday, but I live in San Francisco, so I actually went to the game on Saturday where they lost to the Warriors by 40 points. And the first thing I thought was just like, he's not ready. Like, he wasn't like, he's not Wemby, even though Wemby and what's the other dude's name on Charlotte? The number 2 pick, Brandon something, whatever his name is.
I don't know, remember the name, but I know what you mean. He's
Brandon Miller.
Brandon Miller, yeah. Those 2 guys had a bad game, and people are like, "Oh, these guys are busts." Like, it happens, right? Like, they don't need to come out the gate, even if you are a Wemby in summer league, just because they're playing against guys who are not going to necessarily be in the league. So, but at first I was just like, I don't think he's ready. Like, Spo doesn't play young guys. It takes a long time. Like, even Nico, who's now inserted as a starter, he did have a back injury, but like, did he really have that bad of a back injury, or are they like just actually DMPs? Like, he's played 60 games in 2 seasons, right? Like, so we don't really play a lot of guys outside of Jaime Jaquez and Kendrick Nunn, who came out of nowhere, but he's still raw. He has some time, but we have 3 bigs now. We have, again, Bam, Thomas Bryant, Khalil. We have Jovic and Kevin Love now at the power forward position. So I think, to your point, the 2 roster spots we need to fulfill are backup point guard and a wing, because we might lose Haywood Highsmith. You mentioned we lost Caleb Martin. So if we lose Haywood, we need some sort of wing player. And then we have that mid-level, $5.2 million, like I mentioned earlier. I would be willing to give it to a player like Russell Westbrook. That's not like the most ideal point guard, but there's not other options. Like, Tyus Jones would be the ideal kind of true point guard we can add, but we can't acquire him because we have no salary. He's not going to take 5.2 million. Like, he's going to look for at least $15 million. And we can't do sign in trades right now, because actually we're a first apron team. So unless we get rid of a Hero or Rozier, a Duncan or whoever, and get below the first apron, we can't do a sign in trade. So we can't get Tyus Jones. So I think Russell Westbrook is like the best available option to run that second unit off the bench with Jaime, with Duncan, assuming Caleb and Terry start, with Kevin Love with Khalil Ware, like I think that would be huge to add that experience. And plus, he's hungry for a championship. Like that guy plays 70 games
Yep. And
plus.
he worked
He's,
well.
he's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, and I think
no,
he'll work
hopping.
well with the
Yeah,
system.
finish your
I
thought.
don't think he'll hurt. Yeah. So I like the idea. Again, you mentioned some great points, man. We, right now with those two spots, if we can get that wing, that 3-and-D wing guy, and if we
Yep.
can get a point guard just to back up Terry Rozier, and let's just hope that Jaquez Jr., Nico, and Rozier take that step up that we all want them to take. Because if they do, we still got a good team, and especially if Bam takes that another level up now that he's playing in the Olympics, he's gonna come in, feeling good. I really look forward. Tyler Hero is upset. He we've been talking crap about him as fans. He wants to show out. He might be in a good position again, like we've always been. It's still a Heat culture where we play basketball and we put our heads down and we do what we got to do. So that's what I feel good about my team. I feel very good about the Heat.
What are your thoughts though about the backcourt of Tyler and Terry? Because both of them are combo guards, right? So like we don't have a true point guard in our starting lineup and even on our
Mm-hmm.
bench. So at this point, like, what do you think the Heat do? Do you think we actually go into the regular season and test out that backcourt because they only played 10 games together before Tyler got hurt and it didn't look like the best fit again. I know Tyler was more on ball initially because Terry was just trying to fit in, right? So Terry was just standing there and not doing much. And then they said, "Hey, we need you to be aggressive, Terry, like in Charlotte to get us points." Then Tyler was playing off ball, kind of standing there. So it didn't really work out well though. So how do you think that's going to play out next season?
Yeah, no, I think that is going to be an issue. I think Tyler should come off the bench. I think he should be a 6-man. I think that he's not a starter. I think that's the facts. But we don't have nobody else. We don't have no other off-ball guard. But I think they're going to work well because again, Bam is really our ball facilitator. He's really the general of the offense. Everything runs through him to a certain degree. He's the one who gets everybody open. He opens up the lane for Terry Rozier because he's going to be out on that nail spot. Out on the perimeter where you're gonna have to, you have to go up there. You have to play that because if not, it's gonna be an easy handoff, easy 3-pointer for the Heat, and that's gonna open up lanes for Terry. So he's gonna have to be aggressive. We're just gonna have to see Terry be aggressive. He wants an extension as well, right? He's gonna want money coming up soon. We got him, Tyler, and Jimmy Butler. 3 guys who are going to be playing their max ability because they want contracts and they want to show everybody that they still have it. So we might be in a good position with those guys. I think again we still need to get that other guard though. You're right because I don't think Tyler Hero's a starter. So I would rather see Tyler come off the bench. To be honest,
so it
with
looks like the Miami Heat will be running it back once again. It's like what you said. We lost Caleb Martin, but we actually just signed back Haywood Highsmith on an $11 million deal. But
Just now?
with this Miami Heat team, yes, just now. So with this Miami Heat team running it back, what seed do you think that this Miami Heat can be? Because it's kind of like what you said. Like we're never really healthy, but then at the same time we do have a good team. But then also too, the East continues to improve. So before we close, like, what do you think that this Miami Heat team can finish within the Eastern Conference?
I mean, just what I thought last year before the season started. I had us at like the 6th seed or the 5th seed because I don't really see. Again, Philadelphia is questionable, right? So but we all know it's Boston, Milwaukee, New York. Those are the top 3 teams, and then you still got Cleveland, right? They just signed this guy back, but they might make some moves because supposedly Garland and Allen. I don't even think they re-signed Allen back. I think Allen's a free agent if I'm correct, but either way, I still see us being in between that 8th and the 4th seed, but I don't see us being a play-in team. I think, like I said, I think Jimmy understands for him to get this contract with the Heat, like we all sitting here saying, he has to play more than 60 games, and it has to reflect and impact our team in winning. So he has to show that we're not fighting to be a play-in team this summer. Like, you know what I'm saying? This season, we're actually in there fighting to be a top 4 seed, to have home court advantage in the first round. We're fighting with those teams. We're competing with the Knicks. We're competing with Cleveland. We're competing with Boston. We're competing with Milwaukee. We're not sitting there competing with the Atlanta Hawks and the Chicago Bulls or whatever team that's in the back end that's trying to make the playoffs. We cannot have that this year. So I see us anywhere between 5 and 8.
Yeah, we have to be able to set the tone from the beginning of the season. Listen, I don't need Jimmy Butler to play 82, but I need him to when he is playing, I need him to be competitive and set the tone. So before we close, once again, let the people know where can they find you on social media.
Yes, again, I'm Johnny the Exposer. I'm one half of the GOAT James Kingdom channel, where we go live every Sunday noon to talk about the GOAT conversation and the greatest players to play the game and just basketball in general. We love the Miami Heat on my end because I'm a big time Heat fan. So we also do a Heat Hour on Monday nights on the GOAT James Kingdom platform. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, and we're on Discord. You guys know who we are. We are the GOAT James Kingdom platform. I want to thank Amir and Martel for bringing us up. It's always about the Heat, y'all. I'm more of a Heat fan than anything. To let y'all know this, I'm more of a Heat fan than a LeBron guy. But obviously, we created a channel to talk about the GOAT conversation because without the GOAT conversation being rectified, it's hard to talk basketball in general. We all know that everybody predicates everybody on how they think of their GOAT. And that's how, that's how it always is. That's why Jimmy's known as what? Michael Jordan's love child, right? He's
Yeah.
son, right?
Yeah.
So again, we are GOAT James Kingdom. You can catch us every Sunday noon where we talk basketball and we have a great conversation. Anybody's able to come up, open panel for everybody.
So make sure you guys go to his channel, hit that subscribe button, go to Amir's channel. He's pushing to 2,000 subscribers. And thank you for all the support.
Yes.
Thanks again, guys.
Congratulations on the subscribers, man. Keep it up.